everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and as always, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I had a pretty cool day yesterday, got to go out and do some hunting, somewhere I've never hunted before, and that was a children's consignment sale. To be exact, the Just Between Friends children consignment sale. Apparently they have these twice a year, and during the spring every year, my wife for the past 2 years has actually been volunteering her time there, helping out with the sale and also selling stuff there. It's a great way to get rid of, old kids' toys and clothing and stuff like that. So anything that we're not using with Cinema Sickness Junior anymore, it's a great way to sell that stuff and get rid of it. Sell it for super cheap so people can get stuff for cheap and we can make a little money off it. Very cool. So the wife, like I said, has been volunteering there for the past 2 years. And one of the benefits of volunteering there's actually all kinds of benefits, but one of them is that you get to bring a guest one night. And last night was their 50% off sale. So I was her guest. We both went back and did a lot of shopping. She bought a ton of stuff for super cheap. I bought a ton of stuff for super cheap. Of course, what was I looking for? DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, Game Boy games, any kind of media like that. I was definitely on the hunt for. Wasn't quite sure what to expect. I've never been to a children's consignment sale before, usually because it costs money to get in. In fact, this normally does cost money to get in. So, you pay, I don't know, 20 bucks or whatever to get in, but you buy 20 bucks worth of stuff. So you end up paying, everything you bought ends up costing you twice as much. So, it doesn't really, in my opinion, make sense if you got to pay to get in, unless you're going to find a crap ton of really good deals, then I guess it makes sense. But for somebody like me who's just looking for some DVDs and Blu-rays and Game Boy games, stuff like that, it's not really a really good deal for me, so I don't go. But since I got it for free, I had to check it out. Again, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Didn't know it was going to be a bust. Didn't know if I was going to find a lot of cool stuff. And it was all just kind of up in the air since my first time over there. And I did shoot some videos, so let's take a look at that. And then we'll take a look at all the goodies I found. Well, alright guys, here we are at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center to take a look at the Just Between Friends consignment sale. This is a children's consignment sale. My wife takes part in this every year. It's how I got in for free. And it's just anything and everything you could think of for kids, from clothing, toys, bedding, all kinds of knickknacks, swimwear, like bikes and all kinds of stuff like that. If it's for children, this place pretty much has it. And just a big consignment sale. And this is the stuff that I was excited about. I figured they have some games and some DVDs and Blu-rays and whatnot. They had a bunch of games here. But look at all these DVDs. And there were some Blu-rays shown in here as well, but mostly all just DVDs. Lots and lots of stuff, some music over there as well, some CDs. Tons of stuff to look through, a lot more than I had anticipated. I really was expecting them to have just, a little bit of stuff, and this was called some Sesame Street there. Definitely was interested in checking that out. So I was expecting them to have, a few things, maybe like a little bin or a couple DVDs here and a couple DVDs there. I was not expecting just all these bins full of stuff. Freakazoid Season 1, that is such a cool show. I already have it. Did not need to grab that, but that would have been a really cool find if I didn't already have it. In fact, there was another lady who was looking at it, and I told her, I'm like, that's awesome. You have to get it. She said she was a big fan of Animaniacs. I was like, well, then you definitely have to pick it up. It's awesome. So as you can see, lots and lots of stuff, and everything right now is, as I said, 50% off right now. There were a few things in here that were not 50% off, but most of it was, and I was pretty excited about that. I'm actually thinking about possibly next, when my wife does this, coming to one of the normal days, when the not 50% off days, sing-along songs, Disneyland Fun, such a cool title. I do already have it though. But coming on one of the days when they're not doing the 50% off, because a lot of this stuff was just really, really cheap to begin with. And even without the 50% off sale going on, a lot of this stuff was really well priced and definitely would have been worth grabbing for the standard price. So I'm thinking next year I might actually come twice. I might come to just one of the regular days so I can find cool stuff like this. This Avatar set, that is awesome. I already have it. I did not need it, but man, that is a really cool find nevertheless. But coming to a regular sale day and buying, stuff I think is a really good price, maybe like really, really good DVDs and Blu-rays that I would be willing to pay full price for. He-Man, again, I already have it. So cool. And look at that. Tintin. Yeah, 3D. That was such a good price. And this is really cool too. I've been looking for this set, and it's brand new factory sealed. Yeah, I was definitely grabbing that. I've been looking for that. But yeah, so coming on a day where they're having just the normal sale, I'm sure I'll find some good stuff, like some Disney titles there. And then coming back when they're doing their 50% off and picking up everything that I may have been thinking about getting, but wasn't quite sure. Stuff that they still, might still have that I want to grab. So that's kind of the idea I'm thinking for next year. But this 50% off sale was totally awesome. There was a lot of good stuff in here. Of course, it's a lot of the stuff was for kids. So you do have the issue of a lot of it being scratched. I did find that to be an issue. I did look at all the discs before I bought them, obviously, and many of them, unfortunately, were scratched. But there were a lot in good condition, too. So, it just pays to look. Not so much in the way of CDs, though. Nothing really all that good. There was like a 101 Dalmatians title I was interested in. It was scratched. And they didn't have the Enchanted soundtrack, which I would have loved to have grabbed, but it was full price, and it was way too much. But look at all the Game Boy games. This was something else I was very excited about. Possibly picking up some Game Boy games. Some of the stuff I had already, like that Mickey Mouse was a Great Chase, whatever it's called. I already had that. Great game, by the way. I actually recommended it to another guy who was looking through the games and told him it was an awesome Game Boy game. But they had a lot of stuff here, and again, really cheap. Normally price, I might have passed on a lot of that, but at half price, so much of it was worth grabbing. And I was pretty excited about all the different Game Boy games they had, which again makes me excited for coming back next year, possibly during one of the normal sales, because with this stuff already being so incredibly cheap, I'm thinking maybe they would have had some really good Game Boy games for dirt cheap. This was mostly all just VTech stuff. Had to look through it, because I did see some stuff like some DS games and stuff in there. I don't collect for the DS, but once I saw DS games and whatnot thrown in there, I thought maybe there would be some Game Boy games. But it was all just like Leap Pad, VTech, all that stuff. Nothing I needed, unfortunately. But there were a few more Game Boy games in here. Like some Harry Potter. So much cool stuff. Tony Hawk, already had that, but awesome, great. Well, it's an okay game for the Game Boy Color. Very good for the Game Boy Advance. Some card games, some Vegas games. That's really cool. So lots of games. Unfortunately, I'm not so into games except for Game Boy, so I did pass on plenty of that stuff. But fortunately, they did have a lot of good Game Boy games. And here you go. I mean, just look at all this stuff. So many DVDs, games, CDs, so much awesome stuff for so cheap. Very cool. And there's plenty more to look through. As you can see, tons and tons of toys. They did have a lot of really cool toys. If I was a toy collector, I would have been in heaven, because awesome toys for awesome prices. Even some like vintage stuff. I don't know why, but I saw a lot of vintage toys in here. And I can't imagine that they would have been for kids, but still vintage stuff, which is really cool. This is awesome. I would have loved to have picked that up. Unfortunately, it was a bit dirty, which, I probably still would have grabbed it because I could have cleaned it, but it was broken. As you can see, the yellow M&M, his glasses were broken off, so I passed on it, but I would have loved to have had that. And this Mickey was really cool, but check this out, guys. Elmo galore. Look at all that Elmo. It's insane. I've never seen so much Elmo in my entire life. And SpongeBob walkie-talkies. Those were awesome. I didn't grab them, but I thought about it. They were pretty cool. And we got some Pirate Mickey. I loved this. That is the coolest ship. I want to get that on a t-shirt. I remember seeing that Pirate Mickey on a t-shirt at Disney. I want to grab it. And a Hot Rod pedal car. That was amazing too. Very expensive. That was not half off. That was really expensive. I would have grabbed it for Simicicus Jr. otherwise. And Full House books. Again, I pass on them. I don't really collect books, but man, those were amazing. Just absolutely awesome. I was tempted to get them as well. And this, I can't believe it. You guys remember I just bought one of these a few months ago, and look at them. Stacks and stacks and stacks. And wait till you see this price. Look at that. It's $8.50. They would have been half off. Super cheap. So there you go, guys. Now let's take a look at everything I grabbed. Well, all right, guys, there you go. That was the Just Between Friends consignment sale at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. Apparently, like I said, they had to do them twice a year. If you guys are interested and you live in the Philly area, it's facebook.com/JBFPhilly. Check them out. So, what did I find? Some pretty cool stuff. Not as much as I was hoping. I actually had a whole bag full of stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of the DVDs were scratched. Kind of was expecting that, as a lot of these were probably... Well, a lot of them were kids' titles, but they were obviously titles that probably the kids were handling as well, so it is what it is. Many of the titles I was looking for were scratched, but there were a few titles that weren't, so that was good. And what really paid off was all the Game Boy games. I was surprised to see that many. I thought I'm going to come across a boatload of like DS games and probably no Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games like that, but I came across a decent amount. So we'll take a look at those first. So I kept them all in their bag, so I remember how much I paid. So again, most of these are all 50% off. I think all the games actually were. So this marked $4, but I got it for $2. Very cool. We have Army Men 2, which comes in a case, which is always nice. And I like how somebody wrote goals on it. I have no idea why they wrote that. but maybe that's their last name. I have no idea because it says it twice. Goals and Goals. So I don't know. I guess maybe that's the last name. But Army Men 2, played it for a little bit. I wasn't very excited. I was just kind of walking around, like, top-down view, shooting people. It was really hard to aim at people. It wasn't very fun. So, I don't know. I'll look into it some more. But so far, I wasn't too thrilled with it. Then also for only $2, also in a case, which is really cool, is a game I was kind of expecting more from. And that is Boomer's Adventure in Asmic World. I guess I'm saying that right. As you can see, unfortunately, the artwork is like kind of peeling up there a little bit. But what are you going to do? Reason I was expecting more from this is because I see this a lot at game stores, and usually they want a lot, let's say too much for it, more than I'm willing to pay for it. So I was expecting like a really fun game, and so far I wasn't really digging it. Kind of a sort of a Pac-Man clone, but the first level, it's like I collected a cross and then went through a door and I beat the level. I was like, well, that was easy. And then the second level, I didn't see anything to collect, and I couldn't go through any doors, so I'm not sure. I gotta play this one some more, but it didn't really seem all that exciting. I'm hoping maybe once I get into further levels, it gets more exciting. Another problem with this, very, very slow. This Boomer character, he walks super duper slow, and it just made the game like, oh my god, like it's so tedious because I'm just moving so slowly. So I wasn't really impressed, but I'll play it some more and test it out because it gets, well, I shouldn't say it gets good reviews, I don't know, but it gets priced pretty well, so we'll see. Then also for $2, and also in a case, I picked up Gex 3 Deep Pocket Gecko. I think I have Gex. Do I have Gex 2? I think I have that for the Game Boy. I think. I don't know what a Gex game. Pretty much the same thing. Side-scrolling platform game. You're Gex. You're whipping people with your tail. And it's okay. It's an awesome, side-scrolling game. Not bad. The Gex games are actually pretty fun. I'd recommend them. Then also for $2, this is looked okay. And also coming in a case, we have Harry Potter, just straight up Harry Potter. Although this takes place, so far from when I played, it seems like a role-playing game, and it starts you off kind of like, from the beginning of the Harry Potter world. You're Harry Potter, you're in the land of Harry Potter, you got to get your wand, and you're talking to people, and you're collecting things, and it seemed very role-playing game-ish, and that's kind of fun. So, I've been throwing role-playing games. If that's the case with this, then it could be a fun game. Definitely looking forward to playing that some more. All right, then we have, and also for $2, again, I think like all these were $2. Also in a case, we have Uno. I don't think I need to explain much more. It's Uno. If you've never played Uno, I'm very sorry that that's the way your childhood went down, because Uno is a great game. I used to play this all the time as a kid. In fact, even when I was older, I remember, I don't drink coffee, but I had a lot of friends who used to go to coffee shops, and I remember like every coffee shop we went to would always have like Uno. They'd have games there, chess, checkers, stuff like that. And since I was like the only one out of my friends who apparently knew how to play chess, which drove me nuts because I liked playing chess, they'd always have Uno as well, and everybody would always want to play Uno, which is not me because Uno's a great game. So very cool, Uno. Classic. Very happy to have it for the Game Boy. All right. Then also for $2, we have not just one game, but 2 games. So $1 a piece. Absolutely fantastic deal. Las Vegas Cool Hand. It's just literally Las Vegas card games. Poker, blackjack, things like that. Okay, cool. And Vegas games. So some more Vegas fun here. This one being all types of games, from poker, blackjack, have like roulette, craps, slots, all that stuff. So pretty awesome. A lot of fun to play those games. Also, $2. We have 2 more games here. First one here I actually already had, and that is Tetris DX. Good Tetris game, but I do already own it, so didn't need it, but that's okay. This I did need, and that is Aliens Thanos Encounter. Or Thanatos Encounter? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So an Aliens game. Pretty cool. Although I wasn't too thrilled with this one either. It's a top-down view, and there were like people walking around. I thought maybe I'm supposed to shoot them, but I would shoot and it wouldn't do anything. But I'd walk into them and then they like disappeared. I'm like, what is going on? And then I found myself just walking around this room with like nothing to do. So I'll have to play it some more, figure it out more. But just first impressions, I was like, I was expecting something more from this. I thought maybe like a side-scrolling platform game, maybe you with a gun shooting down aliens. That'd be really fun. It wasn't quite that, so oh well. So there, well, that was almost it for my Game Boy games. But as you can see, a lot of cool stuff here, and I definitely beefed up my Game Boy Color collection, which was Awesome. I always love doing that. Again, I need more Game Boy Color games. But again, for $2, so $1 a piece, I picked these up simply as Listia bait. Because one of the games we have is Driver 2, which I'm not expecting to go for too much off Listia. In fact, I actually got my copy of this that I already own off Listia, so oops. But that's cool. But the reason why I really want to grab this for Listia bait, Pokemon Sapphire version. The Pokemon games go for a decent amount on Listia because they're the Pokemon games. They're very sought after. Everybody loves Pokemon games, and they tend to sell for a bit on Listia. So when I saw, I was like, a buck a piece. I could definitely get a little bit for Driver 2, but I'm sure I'll get a decent amount for Pokemon. I figured I'm going to pick these up as Listia bait. So I'll be posting these up on Listia, and hopefully I'll get some movies out of them. So awesome. All right, but now on to the actual cinema. So this was actually full price, but it was only $3, which just goes to show you, as I said, I'm thinking about going on a day where they're not doing the 50% off sale also coming up next year. Because my wife did say she's going to volunteer next year as well, probably. So I'll probably go on a day, again, where they're not doing 50% because, as you can see, stuff's already cheaped really pricely to... cheap... Did I just say that backwards? I'm so dyslexic. Price really cheaply to begin with. Wow, that was... bad. So it would be pretty cool. But $3 for this was a good deal. And that is Jake and the Neverland Pirates Neverland Rescue. So some Disney Junior here. I've never seen this show. They, everywhere you go in Disney World, there's tons of Jake stuff. It's just all over the place. And I was really intrigued. I was like, who is this? I want to check this out, see what this is all about. So far, like all the Disney Junior stuff I've been watching, I've actually thought was pretty cool. It's very kiddie, but it's actually fun, and Simmons Jr. likes watching it, so I was intrigued. I wanted to pick it up. I definitely want to see this and get more into it and see what this show's all about, and Simmons Jr. can watch this along with me. This is, wow, wait, full-length adventure for 148 minutes? What? This has to be, okay, wait, this is actually kind of a lie. Jake, okay, no, I lied. It's Jake's Neverland Rescue, which is a full-length adventure. It doesn't say how long it is, but then it also comes with 4 episodes. So, I don't know how long the actual movie is. I'm thinking maybe like an hour or something. I'm not sure. Probably less than an hour. So I guess it comes with that, plus a bunch of episodes. But regardless, that's cool. I want to check this out. Again, I want to get more into it. I'm curious. I love, the Peter Pan story, so I'm curious to see what this is all about and how it relates. So very cool. $3. Definitely going to grab it. They actually had 3 copies of this. They were all scratched, except for this copy. And best thing about this copy is it's the only copy also that came with the Disney Movie Rewards codes. So I got the codes, and I got the disc scratch-free. So very awesome. Had to grab that. This was $1.50 because they're normally $3 but marked down. And that is something I've never heard of. So you guys have seen this, leave a comment. This is Jim Henson's The Song of the Cloud Forest and Other Earth Stories. I don't really know anything about this, but for $1.50 and me being a big Jim Henson fan and being a huge fan of puppets, I figured I'd pick it up and check it out. But again, I really don't know anything about this. Let's take the price tag off. Let's see, the Song of the Cloud Forest. Oh, wow, okay. So it includes whatever the Song of the Cloud Forest is, but it also has an episode of Fraggle Rock, so that's cool. And then Animal Show with Stinky and Jake, Alan Frog, and Kangaroo and Frog. I have no idea what this is. I really don't know. This is a complete mystery to me. But you know what? I love Jim Henson, so I figured I'd grab it, especially for $1.50. Great price. So cool. And this, even though it was $7 full price, not half price, unfortunately, this was still a really cool find in my opinion. Cheaper would have been better, but hey, it's $7. I'm not going to knock it because I've actually been on the lookout for this. Been trying to hunt this one down. And this is Discovery Channel Extreme Collection Volume 2. Brand new, factory sealed, $7. Awesome find. The reason I've been trying to hunt this one down is all because of the T-Rex, New Science, New Beasts, and Dino Lab. I actually have that, and it kind of bothers me that I haven't, because I know it's part of this set, and I just hate having it individually. I think I got like a Goodwill or something like that for super cheap or whatever. I picked it up. It's cool, great Discovery Channel documentaries, which is awesome, but it drove me nuts that it goes with this set. So I've been on the hunt for this set, been on the lookout for it. I finally found it, $7, great deal. Comes with Future Weapons, Man vs. Wild, Future Car, Shark, and then the T-Rex and Dino Lab. So very, very cool. That is awesome. Again, brand new, factory sealed, and again, $7, not a bad deal. So really cool. So all right, guys, there you go. That was everything I grabbed from the, what was it, let me check, make sure I get it right. Just Between Friends Children Consignment Sale, which, you know, is pretty cool. And I will definitely be doing it again next year. You know, whether I go twice or not, I'm not sure, but I'll definitely go at least once again next year, because as you can see, a lot of cool stuff, and hopefully next year I'll find some more movies that aren't scratched, and maybe some Blu-rays I want. They did have some Blu-rays there. Unfortunately, it was all Blu-rays I already had. It was all stuff I already owned. But DVDs, some stuff I wanted to grab, but a lot of it was scratched. But the Game Boy games, I think, is what really paid off. I've had a lot, so, and for great prices. So very cool. So all right, guys, again, there you go. So like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. If you are not already subscribed, you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, then hit that subscribe button and you will get one. Also, if you're looking to grab yourself, I can't talk today. If you're looking to grab yourself a Cinema Sickness t-shirt, hoodie, kinds of hat, buttons, all kinds of cool Cinema Sickness gear like that, head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com where you can get yourself some. And finally, if you want to keep videos like this coming your way, head over to patreon.com/CinemaSickness where you can become a patron, show your support. Any tiny little bit helps and is very much greatly appreciated. So, all right, that's it. Again, have a fantastic day and thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.